Hello everyone and welcome back to Past and Future. Today we're going to be taking a look at the British heavy bomber, the Halifax, in War Thunder. So, sorry I haven't been uploading recently, got no excuse for that. I've just been trying to play normal vehicles, just do some normal grinding, but I unlocked this and I thought it'd be a really nice thing to do a video on. And now it's Easter, I'm going to be getting a lot of new content out. I've just got out the first video in a two-part series where I went to Hartlepool for the day and explored the Hartlepool Naval Museum, where they have the brilliant HMS Trincomalee docked, the oldest floating warship in Europe. And in the second part I'm going to be going to the Hugh Battery, the only World War I battlefield in Britain, also in Hartlepool. But yeah, no other notices, so let's crack on with the video. This is the Halifax B Mark 3A, a British heavy bomber which sits at battle rating 4.0 in the British Air Tech tree. And I think it is the unsung British bomber of the Second World War. A bit like the Hurricane is overshadowed by the Spitfire, the Halifax is overshadowed by the Lancaster, and there are many reasons for that, most of which are good reasons. The main one being, well, the Lancaster is iconic, you know, dam busters and whatnot, and they were used more because, quite simply, they had a bigger bomb load of 14,000 pounds compared to this one of 13,000 pounds. Now, that might not seem like a big increase, and it's not really, especially not when you compare it to the last British bomber you get, which is the Wellington. This one, I've only got one variant of it because I wanted to research the Halifax, that has 4,000 pounds of bomb load. Yeah, which is a big step up. But the main thing with the Lancaster was that it was superbly designed so that even with a bigger bomb load, even with its max bomb load, its handling characteristics were basically identical to those if it had a smaller bomb load. The same sadly couldn't be said about the Halifax. It had much worse handling characteristics, flight characteristics, when you took out its max payload. And often that'll be scrapping some of the defensive armament, which wasn't that good anyway. So yeah, the place where the Halifax does beat the Lancaster though is in its versatility. The Halifax was a multi-role plane. It wasn't just a heavy bomber. It was used for a variety of tasks during the war. Obviously it was used by the Bomber Command, it was used by the Coastal Command, the British Coastal Command, for anti-submarine duties and air rescue and transport. It was used by the RAF Transport Hub to transport supplies. It was used not so much by an organisation, but it was used to drop agents and supplies by parachute into Europe, and it was the only British plane that could tow the Hamilcar gliders, which were used a lot in airborne operations. So that's where the Halifax really shone above the Lancaster. So let's look at some of the specifications, that's the word, of this. So first let's have a look at the engines. They are the Bristol Hercules engines. This was actually the first variant of the Halifax B Mark 3A to actually use the Bristol Hercules engines of the Mark 6 or Mark Roman numerals Mark 16, that's, yeah, type. This offered 1,615 horsepower for takeoff, which was quite good. its wingspan was also increased compared to earlier Halifax variants by an extra 5 feet and 4 inches, but that's basically where the differences stop. So yeah, we go into X-ray view, you can see the 4 engines here. Those are Bristol Hercules Mark 16 engines. And then you've got spars, fuel tanks in the wings here, same in the other wings. 4 engines. It was your standard 4-engine heavy bomber. Other things to do with the engine, can't really think of any. A max speed of 419 kilometers per hour and a rate of climb of about 3.8 meters a second, according to War Thunder at least. Which, you know, that's alright for a bomber. It did need quite a long runway, though, 750 meters. That's the interesting fact here. When in the first variant, the Handley Page runway was too short for the bomber to take off. It was a massive bomber for the time. The first test flight was, well, it was first, the concept was first thought up in 1936, and the first test flight was soon afterwards. And so, because the runway was just too small, which gives you a sense of the scale of this aircraft, they had to use an old RAF runway which wasn't being used anymore to test fly it. So yeah, that's quite an interesting fact there. It gives you an idea of just how big this thing is. Now, it had some other interesting characteristics for a heavy bomber, such as the twin tail fins here, and it doesn't look like your normal British bomber. When I think of British bombers, I think of a long cylindrical shape like the Wellington or the short Sterling. I think I've got the Wellington over here. Yeah, quite a long, thin thing. Yeah. But no, it looks more like a B-17 Flying Fortress, or the B-24 Liberator, or any of the other American bombers. Talking of Flying Fortresses, let's have a look at its defensive armaments. Earlier variants weren't armed with much, but the later variants, starting with the Mark II, introduced the Bolt and Pull Defiant turret, which was the famous, well, it was a fighter designed by the Bolt and Pull aircraft company, but it had a turret. It didn't have any other guns, and the turret was meant to shoot down aircraft. Quite an interesting concept. You can see the turret there, the Bolt and Pull turret, mounting 4 0.33mm or 7.7mm machine guns. Got another turret in the back here, again mounting another 4 machine guns, and in the nose here you've got a final gun. The nose in the earlier variants, again, they used to have a nose turret, but because this thing was so heavy, they had to try streamline it as much as possible. So they got rid of that and just put this nice bubble on here, again with a machine gun, which slightly degraded its offensive armaments forward, but they then put the Bolt and Pull turret on it, so it didn't have much effect overall. In fact, it actually increased the guns by 1, because the front turret only had 2 guns before. As already mentioned, it could carry 3,000 pounds of bomb load, but this is actually the first time I've taken this out. So if we go into modifications, you can see right now we have 15 £250 bombs, but we in future will be able to mount it with 6 £500 bombs and 9 £1,000 bombs, and then 15 £500 bombs, which is quite a good bomb load. So yeah, now a bit of history on this aircraft. As I first mentioned, it was first the British put in a request for a heavy bomber in 1936. It made its test flight soon after that, and the first variant, so I select line block there, the Mark 1s, Mark 1s A's, looked quite different because they obviously had the turret at the front and no dorsal turret, the bolt and pull turret on there. They were used in the daylight bombing. They're used for daylight bombing, but like basically all British bombers at the time, it was decided that their defensive armament was just not adequate enough for the daylight bombing role, and so they switched, like the whole RAF Bomber Command in general, to night bombing, and they made the first bombing raids on Hamburg in 1940, in the November of 1940. From then on, it moved to the Mark II variant, which weren't much different from this, just with different Rolls-Royce Merlin engines. And then it moved to the Mark IIIs, as you see here. And then there were also Mark II and Mark Is and Mark III, basically all the Mark specials, which were, for example, they were Mark Is that had been issued to squadrons, and then the Mark IIs had come along, but then they were modified as much as the squadron could without proper engineering facilities to be like a Mark II. For example, this might mean adding a bolt and pull turret if they had any, or in most cases just taking out the nose turret, replacing it with the sort of just nose glass cone, and also getting rid of any excess things that they could without installing something else. For example, they'd keep the engines, but they might get rid of, I don't know, an excess fuel pipe or something like that. So yeah, they continued to be used after the war by the RAF until 1947. They were used across many fronts in the war, obviously the European theatre, but they were also used in the Middle East, and especially at the end of the war, some were mounted with filters intended to go to the Pacific, but they never actually fought in the Pacific, though they were used after the war in training exercises in the Pacific. So yeah, another interesting thing, the Halifaxes were known as Halibags because they were supposedly quite robust and durable. In fact, there are stories of Halifaxes making it back. On one story I know of is half of its tail after being shot by some particularly accurate, that's a word, German flak. And there are many other stories which you can find, like that one, telling you of the crew's adventures in one of these things. Hopefully it will be just as durable for me when I take it out. We're going to take it out in air realistic, and then we're actually going to try it in ground realistic, You're going to be taking out my usual 4.7 lineup, which consists of, or will consist of, the Sherman Firefly, the Crusader anti-aircraft, the Achilles, and the Churchill 3. I'm going to take out the Crusader because it's the cheapest thing to take out, and replace it with the Halifax, and then yeah, we'll see how that goes. So, first battle. Whoops. First battle. Aerialistic. Let's jump straight into it. So, battle number 1. Aerialistic in the Halifax. You can see here just how big this plane is. It is truly a chunky monkey. Now, I know you shouldn't lose height on a strategic bomber, I know that, but basically I don't trust myself with the bomb sight. I am very bad at it. Yeah. I just can't use that. Yeah. So we are descending from altitude, and yeah, hopefully we're not at a very steep incline, so enemy fighters shouldn't really be much trouble. I'm sorry. Where's my team? Okay, there they are. Hello. Is there anyone else? Oh yeah, there's a B-25 and another B-25 over there. That's good to see. Got a lot of firepower on this thing. Oh, I'll just turn the WEP on. A lot of firepower. Don't know why that's not firing. Hang on a second. I don't know. Saying that. Add. So what? Okay. Our gunners don't seem to want to work today. But they'll work when an enemy fighter approaches us because of the what's it called? Automatic targeting thingy. Plus, I am pretty bad at aiming with those things anyway. We've got a Dornier 217 down there and a BE6. Don't know what that is. Obviously, Dornier 17 bomber. B6. It hasn't bombed that one of our bases, so it looks like a fighter.
Our victory is near.
But it didn't look the size of a fighter. I don't know. Yeah. But this thing really does have quite a lot of firepower. Spanning quite a good wide radius. Basically anything in a sort of bubble above the aircraft is pretty well covered. Suddenly dive. And then whoops. It's okay, my flying speed is too low. Right. Right, there's quite a lot of our bombs gone. Let's go. Get away. Oh, we're picking up a bit of flak. Base damage, nice. How much? That's the question. Cool, got quite a lot of base damage. 1,800 golden eagles. I need them. I need them because you guys, thank you for that in buying the Halifax. 50,000 golden eagles. 55, I think. I see. 16,000 to equip it in this vehicle slot. Another 16,000 to put it in. Maybe that's not a very good idea. To put it in my other vehicle slot as for my whatever they're called. Names go right out of my head. For my tank vehicles, my ground realistic battle. Yeah, sorry. Anyway, we're gonna drop that so we can. Oh, I still think I'm playing Air Arcade, but I'm playing Air Realistic, so they don't replenish. God, I can't be bothered to go back and land this thing. Right, come on. It's just not working, that. Sorry everyone about this. Small caliber guns. Side button, left middle button. Okay, add. Fire machine gun. No, you're not. Does that do it? There we go. Okay, nice. Sorry about that, everyone. But that is 8 303 rounds. Quite a barrage going that way. Both turrets can still turn over here, so you've got an alright radius over here. Don't ask me what angle that is. The bolt and pull turret can still fire pretty far. Over here. Oh god. Come on, let's get those engines going. Come on, someone, just attack. Ooh, BF-109. Come on, I'm a big, slow, heavy British bomber. I'm very, very easy to shoot down, like incredibly easy. Come on, come on. There we go. Come on, buddy. Join the ride, yeah. God. Oh, we hit him, nice. Ooh, we could have hit him somehow. And he's gone over there. They're getting away from these bad boys, buddy. Okay, maybe there is. The sheer power, folks, of the .303 British round. Devastatingly. I should have seen that coming, but I didn't. The P-38. Couldn't have done much against that. Still, you saw the thing's bomb load, bar 2 250-pound bombs, and you also saw some of its defensive capabilities. Quite a good battle, I think. So, we got Ash River for battle number 2, which is ground realistic. We're with the Russians, but I need to get up to the great sniping spot, so I'm not going to check who we're against. Probably against the Germans, though. I'm gonna get up on the brilliant sniper spot. If we can get to it before that Russian thing. It's a race. What is that, like a Russian Hetzer? Oh, Sherman Firefly, which is what this is. Sherman with the 17-pounder gun doesn't do too well up hills. Right, okay.
Allied forces have captured a zone.
There was, I believe, a Hetzer up here. Or a Jag Panther or something. God, there. We tracked him. Thank God he missed. Okay, there we go. Nice. Where did we pen him? I didn't think we'd be able to pen him through the front. I think we hit his turret ring, which is what I was aiming for, but didn't actually think I'd hit it.
Defend the B point.
Not very optimistic. Hey, buddy. Buddy. Oh no. Thought he'd fallen off. You got him? Yes, nice.
The enemy is winning. Allied forces have captured a zone.
Okay, yeah. Pretty good, pretty good. God. Get back while that. Oops. Something smoked up. Oh god, we're dead, yeah. Anyway, 2 targets, that's alright. Ideally want the skies clear before we take up the Halifax, but we'll give it a go, we'll give it a go. Oh, we'll angle down. Go on the WUP. Okay.
Attention to the designated grid zone. Enemy forces have captured a zone.
God, off! What the hell? God damn it. Anyway, I'm successful. Not the most successful last game, but we still got 2 kills in the tank, that's alright. And it was just interesting to see how the Halifax got on. Really, the air battle was the main thing, because, well, the ground realistic battle isn't really that realistic when you get into a plane, because you won't be using strategic bombers for just bombing targets. That's more of the job of a tactical bomber like the Blenheim or whatever. But yeah, the Halifax, the unsung British bomber. I hope you agree with me in that view. Overshadowed by the Lancaster, but not any worse or better. So, thank you everyone for watching. I do hope you've enjoyed it. As I said before, I'm going to be trying to get out a bit more content over the Easter holidays. Got lots of stuff lined up for you guys. Also, maybe got some live streaming coming up. So look out for that. I'll post the specifics in the comments. If you want to join that, it'll just be doing the Children of Arachis event. And so you guys are all invited to come and join. But like I said, I'll post the details of that, how you join, what time it will be, etc. in the comments below. Don't forget to like and subscribe as always. If you like what I do and you want to help me get, I don't know, like previews and stuff, then go and support me on Patreon. It really does help. And you get to vote on what premiums you see on the channel, and you get to join in the games. It's a lot of fun. Please go join. And don't forget to check out my other channel, Past and Future of Warhammer, if you like Warhammer 40,000, Warhammer Age of Sigmar, or just modelling in general. So, until next time, cheerio!